వస్తే కరోనా వైరస్ వ్యాప్తి వల్ల ఈ మధ్య కాలంలో మరింతగా మన నోళ్లలో నానుతున్న మాట. లాక్డౌన్ కారణంగా ఎక్కువ శాతం ప్రజలు ఇళ్లలోనే ఉండిపోవడం వల్ల ఈ ఓటీటీలు విపరీతంగా వాడుకలోకి వచ్చేశాయి. 21వ శతాబ్దంలో వచ్చిన సాంకేతిక విప్లవం వల్ల దీనికి రోజురోజుకి ఆదరణ పెరుగుతోంది. విజ్ఞానం నుంచి వినోదం వరకు అరచేతిలోనే అన్నీ అందించే ఓటీటీ గురించి, ఓటీటీ ద్వారా పొందగలిగే ఉద్యోగ ఉపాధి అవకాశాల గురించి ఇప్పుడు తెలుసుకుందాం. ఓటీటీ అంటే ఓవర్ ది టాప్కి సంక్షిప్త రూపం. అడ్వాన్స్డ్ టెక్నాలజీతో కేబుల్, డిటిహెచ్ కనెక్షన్స్ లేకుండానే ఇంటర్నెట్ ద్వారా మనకి నచ్చిన కార్యక్రమాలను వీక్షించే నూతన సాంకేతికత. రానున్న 2 ఏళ్లలో మన దేశంలో 1,00,000కు పైగా ఉపాధి అవకాశాలు ఓటీటీ ద్వారా పొందవచ్చని, ప్రతి ఏటా కనీసం 20-25% ఆదరణ ఓటీటీకి పెరుగుతుందని నిపుణుల అంచనా. ఉద్యోగ అవకాశాల విషయానికి వస్తే అటు టెక్నికల్, ఇటు నాన్ టెక్నికల్ 2 విభాగాల్లోనూ ఉద్యోగాలు లభించే అవకాశం చాలా ఉంది. ఒక ప్లాట్ఫామ్, దానికి సంబంధించిన ప్రొవైడర్ అందిస్తున్న సేవలను గమనిస్తే కంటెంట్ దగ్గర నుంచి క్లౌడింగ్ వరకు అన్ని ఉపాధిని అందించేవే. ఏదైనా ప్లాట్ఫామ్ సొంతంగా తన కార్యక్రమాలను కానీ లేదా వెబ్ సిరీస్లను కానీ అందించే క్రమంలో నాన్ టెక్నికల్ విభాగంలో కంటెంట్ రైటర్స్, కంటెంట్ డెవలపర్స్, సోషల్ మీడియా లేదా డిజిటల్ మీడియాకు సంబంధించి ఉద్యోగాలు పొందే అవకాశాలుండగా, టెక్నికల్ విభాగంలో వెబ్ డెవలపర్, క్లౌడ్ ఇంజనీర్, ప్రొడక్ట్ డెవలపర్, బిజినెస్ అనలిస్ట్ వంటి ఉద్యోగాలు పొందవచ్చు. నాన్ టెక్నికల్ విభాగంలో ఉద్యోగాలకు ఏదైనా బ్యాచిలర్ డిగ్రీతో పాటు వారి ప్రాంతీయ భాష మరియు ఆంగ్ల భాషలో మంచి కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్కిల్స్ని అభ్యర్థుల్లో పరిశీలిస్తున్నాయి. టెక్నికల్ విభాగంలో ఉద్యోగాలకు ఇంజనీరింగ్, ఎంబీఏ వంటి అర్హతలతో ఆయా కంపెనీలు ఆ ఉద్యోగానికి తగినట్లుగా అర్హులను ఎంచుకుంటున్నాయి. సాంకేతిక విప్లవంలో ఒక కొత్త ఒరవడిని సృష్టిస్తున్న ఓటీటీ యువతకు మంచి భవిష్యత్తుని ఇస్తుంది అనడంలో ఎలాంటి సందేహం లేదు.
Good morning children, welcome to the digital session. In today's session we are going to know about editing. The objectives of the session are: the learners will be able to identify a variety of errors in context, they locate the errors in sentences and in discourses, they attempt correcting the errors in sentences and in discourses, they know the use of conventions of writing and observe them in written discourses. Children, we use language for communication. While communicating, we do make some mistakes. We won't do them intentionally, but while communicating, we make some mistakes, and later we come to know our mistakes. A big question is, why do we make mistakes? It could be a slip of tongue where we dislocate the letters and pronounce in a different way, like ask may be pronounced as ax and bird may be pronounced as brid. And sometimes, particularly for second language learners, they know one rule and they apply the same rule in all the contexts, like paint painted, collect collected, and go goed, and cut cutted. And other problem is incomplete application of rules, like we have come yesterday. And another one is literal translation. We know something in the mother tongue and we translate literally into second language. An example is, I like this book. Why? Because it was written by my favorite author. Of course, in spoken form of communication, we don't get a chance to correct the errors, whereas in written discourse there is a chance to go through our text or go through our draft more than one time. There we look into our draft and we find where we have made mistakes. Have a look at these sentences. I saw two males at the airport. Give me a bread. My brother returned back from Chennai last night. She is my cousin sister. We are discussing about the tour. If you see these sentences, they don't sound good. There are some errors. Each sentence has an error. If you see the first sentence, I saw two males at the airport. Generally we don't use a word like males. And give me a bread. It goes for literal translation. And my brother returned back from Chennai last night. Here returned and back, this combination is not possible in English. And she is my cousin sister. If you see, cousin could be a brother or sister, and cousin sister, it is a repetition. And we are discussing about the tour. The word discuss is never followed by about. So see the correct versions. I saw two women at the airport, and give me a piece of bread, you can say, or a loaf of bread or a slice of bread. Since bread is a non-count word in English, we have to use a phrase. It could be a piece of bread or a loaf of bread or even a slice of bread. My brother returned or came back from Chennai last night. You can say my brother returned from Chennai last night or my brother came back from Chennai last night. Both are possible. And she is my cousin. And we are discussing the tour or we are talking about the tour. So these are the right versions. This is possible only in written discourse. So when you write a draft, and again you can look into the errors. This editing is possible at different levels. First is editing at word level. So generally when you come to words, we will have to use the correct form of the word. If you see the sentence, the childs are playing in the garden, and again combination of words. In English some words go together. We cannot mix up totally different words, and even word groups or phrases like have a teacup. And one more is use of extra words. He took out of his shoes, and use of wrong word like Fleming discovered penicillin, or sometimes we miss words in sentences, or Pant scored century. So these are certain examples where you can do editing at word level. So all these sentences, the childs are playing in the garden, and I am studying a new course, and have a teacup, and he took out of his shoes, and Fleming discovered penicillin, and Pant scored century. At every level there is a problem. So these are the correct sentences. So we generally don't say childs, and you say children. So the children are playing in the garden, and I am studying a course may not be good, and I am doing a course. And have a teacup means a cup without tea. It could be have a cup of tea. And he took off his shoes, and Fleming invented penicillin, not discovered. So discover, we say something that already exists before, like Columbus discovered America, or Captain James Cook discovered Australia. And invent means he found something new that has not existed before. So Fleming invented penicillin is the correct one, and Pant scored a century. So when you come to editing at word level, we will have to see the correct form of word and the correct combination of words, and even in sentences whether or not the word is count or non-count or specific, these are all very important. When we see editing at the sentence level, we will have to see the proper order of words, and we will have to see the agreement and PNG features or person, number or gender features. And when you come to written form of a sentence, we will have to see that a sentence begins with a capital letter and ends either with a full stop if it is a statement, or with a question mark if it is a question, or with an exclamatory mark if it is an exclamatory sentence. So this come to the written part, but in both cases the very important features are PNG features, tense and agreement. So PNG stands for person, number and gender, and tense, agreement and word order. Have a look at these sentences. The birds is flying in the sky. Where are my luggage? I have written a letter yesterday. Ramesh always helps herself. Why you are late? And each of these sentences has an error. So it could be agreement or PNG features or word order. These are the correct versions. The birds are flying in the sky. We know that birds is plural, it's more than one, so it should be are. The birds are flying in the sky. And where is my luggage? Luggage is non-count, so where is my luggage is correct. And I wrote a letter yesterday. So yesterday refers to past time, so it must be wrote. And Ramesh always helps himself. Again the problem with gender and the agreement, Ramesh will go with himself, not herself. And in a question generally the verb comes before. It should not be why you are late, the correct answer must be why are you late. Another level of editing is editing at discourse level. Discourse is nothing but any manifestation in language. A discourse can be a story or an essay or an article or a conversation or speech or anything. And we all know that in a discourse we will find chunks of sentences that make paragraphs. And a discourse must have one particular theme. So it could be about, it could be a story or it could be an essay. For example, if you take a story, the theme must be one from the first part till the end, and sequence of actions and linkers. What do linkers are generally, they connect events or they connect sentences, and unity of time. So when we are talking about general time, the same time has to be maintained throughout the discourse. And one more is conventions of writing, nothing but punctuation and spacing. Now we are going to see a variety of discourses here. Here is text 1. The elephant is the only animal in the world with a trunk. It used its trunk in many ways. It carries heavy logs, pulls up trees and carries a lot of water with it. It uses its trunk as a hand to hold food and take it to its mouth. It can hold smaller things as well as big items with it. It's really fun, isn't it? We all know that this is a paragraph about the elephant, and you see the first sentence itself tells us the theme. We call it a topic sentence, and we believe, and it should be, the same theme has to be maintained throughout the paragraph, and it refers to general time. However, there is one error. One sentence is inappropriate. Shall we check? Right. So this is the paragraph of general time, but the underlined sentence, if you observe this, it used its trunk in many ways. The total sentence refers to general time, but here it used, it refers to some past event. I mean to say the unity of time is not observed here. So what will be the correct one? The second sentence, the underlined sentence has to be changed as it uses its trunk in many ways. So in this text we have seen how unity of time has to be maintained. Let us see the second text. Clothes are important, therefore they can tell people many things about us. They can show people who work we do. They can make us look beautifully or ugly. Of course, at the basic level this text looks good, but there are so many misappropriations. Shall we check it once again? So clothes are important, therefore, no. Why are clothes important? There must be a reason. So the word therefore is inappropriate. It should be replaced by a different word. And they can show people who work we do. So they refers to clothes. So the word who is inappropriate, and again there is a problem. They can make us look beautifully or ugly. The word beautifully is inappropriate. Let us see them. So, clothes are important. It should not be therefore, it should be because. Clothes are important because they can tell people many things about us. They can show people what work we do. They can make us look beautiful or ugly. In this text, we have seen how words have to be used properly. Shall we go to text number 3? Rivers are considered the greatest natural assets for us. They make our land green and provide water for us and for our crop. They even links the towns of the villages. Sometimes they flood the countrysides. We respect our rivers and hold themselves sacred. So, if you see, rivers are considered the greatest natural assets for us. They make our land green and provide water for us and for our crop. It should be crops. They even link the towns of the villages. Sometimes they flood the countryside. We respect our rivers and hold them sacred. Here is one more text. I used to make paper boats and float them when I was a child. I write my name and my village name on them. I have filled them flowers and made them attractive. My paper boats reached new people of new places. They become my friends. So, here it is about a past event. So, it should be past time because it already over and unity of time is not observed. Shall we see the correct form? I used to make paper boats and float them when I was a child. I wrote my name and my village name on them. I filled them with flowers and made them attractive. My paper boats reached new people of new places. They became my friends. So, dear children, when we come to discourse editing, we will have to see unity of time, the use of linkers and correct forms of words, and of course conventions of writing. Let us observe another text. Kites are our favorite playthings. We can fly kites at any day on any time, but the wind must favorable. We can own our kites from sticks and paper. We have to cut paper but stretch it on a frame made of wood sticks. We have to fasten the cord to the kite. We can add a tail to him. So, this is a general paragraph about kites and how to make a kite, and we can find so many errors in this paragraph. It could be a wrong word or even a word order or inappropriate words. Shall we check them? Kites are our favorite playthings. We can fly kites on any day at any time, but the wind must be favorable. We can make our own kites from sticks and paper. We have to cut paper and stretch it on a frame made of wooden sticks. We have to fasten the cord to the kite and we can add a tail to it. So, here it should not be at any day, it should be on any day and at any time, and must be favorable. One word was missing there, and our own kites, not own our kites, and not wood sticks, it should be wooden sticks, and to fastened is incorrect, it should be to fasten, and we can add a tail to it because it should refer to a kite. So, not him, it should be it. In discourse editing, we will have to see the agreement. What is the sentence mainly about? The words that follow must go with, the words in a sentence must have agreement. And finally, conventions of writing, it is very important in written discourse. So, what are the conventions of writing? These are very important. One is capitalization, use of capital letters. We use a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence and for names, and the word I is always written in capital form wherever it occurs. And stops, we have already discussed, it should be a full stop for statements and a question mark for questions and exclamatory mark for some surprising sentences or exclamatory sentences. And the difference between a comma and a full stop. A stop means completion, and whereas a comma means incomplete, and quotation marks, if the words that are uttered, if the same words are written, we will have to use quotation marks. It refers to the accurate or the exact or the original words spoken by the speaker. So these conventions we will have to observe in writing. Have a glance at the text. So Ramesh was in his room, he was drawing a picture. Ramesh, where are you? The mother asked. I am in my room, said Ramesh. Come, breakfast is ready, the mother said. I'll come in a minute, replied Ramesh. This text looks very unnatural. Of course, listen to the text, you won't find any difficulty, but if you read the text, it is quite unnatural. The reason is that no conventions of writing are observed. So if you see them, Ramesh is a name, and in Ramesh the first letter must be the capital one, and Ramesh was in his room. The sentence ends there, means there must be a full stop, and the next sentence begins with the word he. So the first letter in the word he must be capital one, and Ramesh, where are you? These are the original words uttered by the mother. So we need to use quotation marks, and where are you is a question, so it should have a question mark. I am in my room, said Ramesh. Again, I am in my room. These are the original words uttered by Ramesh. Again, there we need to use quotation marks. Come, breakfast is ready, the mother said. Again, the original words uttered by the mother, so we need to use quotation marks. I'll come in a minute. Again, we have to use quotation marks, replied Ramesh. So dear children, when you are observing conventions in a conversation or in a text, it is very important to use capital letters, quotation marks, full stops, commas, and even question marks if possible. So here is the text. Ramesh was in his room. He was drawing a picture. Ramesh, where are you? The mother asked. I am in my room, said Ramesh. Come, breakfast is ready, the mother said. I'll come in a minute, replied Ramesh. So here you can see the use of capital letters, the use of full stops, the use of commas, and the use of quotation marks. Dear children, let's watch the video on classroom editing.
Children, have you completed your group work? Yes. Let's do the presentation. Manusha, come. Group 1. Hi friends. Good morning teacher.
Good morning.
My name is Manusha. I am studying 6th class. I am reading my group 1. It is a village. There are so many houses. Children are going to school. One woman is carrying a pot. Old man is reading a newspaper. One man is driving a bullock cart. There is a trees and houses. Man is buying vegetables. Woman is selling vegetables. There is a school.
Okay. Group 2. Clap, clap. Group 2.
Good morning, teacher. Good morning, my friends. I am reading my group 1. Titled A Little Village. This is a village. There are a school. One man is reading newspaper. Children are going to school. A farmer is driving bullock cart. One woman is carrying grass bucket. One man is buying vegetables. A woman is selling vegetables. There are houses. There are trees. There are
Okay. Fine. Good. Next group products. It's really very nice, but we can make some changes to make it better. Do you want to make the changes?
Yes.
Okay. You have read this group words. Are there any excess words?
No.
Any extra words?
No.
Okay. So Okay, a newspaper. A newspaper. There is one more sentence, similar sentence. A farmer is driving bullock cart. A farmer is. Yes, Ramesh. What do you want to do? Yeah, ready. Wait. Read. A farmer is driving a bullock cart. Very good, very good. Okay. And do you want to change any word form or any word order here? All the sentences, they are very nice. Let us see if we can change any word. One man is reading a newspaper. One man is reading a newspaper. Okay. Okay, look at this sentence. There are a school. Do you want to change any word form? Yes. Come. What do you want to do there? What change you want to do? Yes. Okay. Circle this word. Okay, let's go to another sentence. One woman is carrying grass bundle. What change you want to make there? Woman. Okay, who want to write on? Come, Vaishnav. Yeah. Circle this word. Circle here. Red only. Tell the spelling. Okay. One woman is carrying grass bundle. I think there is a word missing here. Yeah, come fast. See the next sentence. One man is buying vegetables. You want to change any word form here? Yes, starting. What's the word you want to change? Man. Man. Men to man. Here you have a similar problem. A woman is selling vegetables. Do you want to change it? Yes. Is it right? Yes. Okay. So now see the beginning of all these sentences. Did they begin with capital letters, all the sentences? Yes. Which sentence? One. Do you want to make any change? Come. Wait. Here. Right. O capital. Huh? One man is reading a newspaper. See the sentences? Did all the sentences end with a full stop? Yes. Are they right? Yes. Do you want to change any full stop? No. Or are they all right? Yes. Okay, now your work is little better than the previous one, isn't it? Yes.
In this session, we have come across the importance of editing, and we all know that editing is possible in written discourses, because once you speak out, editing is not at all possible. When we come to the written form of sentences, we can take up the process of editing, and while editing we will have to see agreement, PNG features, the use of linkers and word orders. And when you go with discourse editing, we will have to see unity of time, conventions of writing, and the proper use of linkers and the thematic unity. And mean the discourse must have only one theme. There must be proper sequence of actions. That's all for today. Let's meet in another session.
పర్యావరణ కోర్సులు. మానవ మనుగడకు మూలాధారం ప్రకృతి. మనిషి ప్రతి అవసరానికి ప్రకృతిపై ఆధారపడాల్సిందే. పెరుగుతున్న పరిశ్రమలు, వాటి వ్యర్థాల కారణంగా రోజురోజుకి పర్యావరణ సమస్యలు ఎక్కువ అవుతున్నాయి. పట్టణీకరణ పర్యావరణ సమతుల్యతను దెబ్బతీస్తోంది. దీంతో జాతీయంగా, అంతర్జాతీయంగా పర్యావరణ పరిరక్షణపై దేశాలు దృష్టి పెడుతున్నాయి. అందుకే ఈ సమస్యల పరిష్కారానికి నిపుణుల అవసరం ఏర్పడుతోంది. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ సైన్స్ కోర్సులు పూర్తి చేసిన వారికి డిమాండ్ పెరుగుతుంది. దీన్ని దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని పలు విద్యా సంస్థలు పర్యావరణ సంబంధిత కోర్సులు ప్రవేశపెడుతున్నాయి. అలాంటి వాటిలో ఎంతో ముఖ్యమైనది ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ సైన్స్.